Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Chris with InsideTheU. Thanks for stopping by. Today it was the third spring practice. We were able to watch about 45 minutes, view a lot of things. One of the things I paid a lot of attention to was the offensive line, and I want to get right into that. So just on the first team, what I noticed, from left to right, who we saw, and kind of what we've seen for most of the first week. But Zion Nelson, Usman Traore, Ja'Kai Clark, Justice Oluwaseun, and DJ Scaife from left to right. But what I do want to mention that Logan Salapalu was kind of rotating in with the first team unit, played some right guard, and also Usman and Justice moved from left and right kind of throughout practice, depending on some of the team situations that they did. So just kind of want to make note of that. Michael McLaughlin, and Chris Washington are a couple of second team tackles that have been there, some young guys. In particular, I want to make a mention of Chris Washington. There was a rep that he had that looked really impressive. I'm going to show you guys the video clips from practice today on the offensive line. I want to show you the Washington hit, and just his performance there on some one-on-ones going up against the defense, or kind of some combo blocking stuff, because there was another offensive line there. A lot of people have asked, what's different? What's different with this coaching staff? What have we noticed that's different, either with the last coaching staff or even previous ones? And one of the things I'll definitely mention is throughout these first 3 days, it's definitely been very vocal, and not to the point where it doesn't seem like it's over the top, or it doesn't seem, it seems genuine. It seems like this is just who these guys are. They like to be vocal. They like to instruct. They like to coach up guys, and a very energetic staff, and not just the coaches, but the staff in general. A lot of personnel guys, guys on this staff, and really helping out and being vocal as well. And I think that's helping create a really energetic atmosphere at practices. And I think the players are going to catch on to that and get used to it. And for guys that love ball, they're going to really enjoy this coaching staff. And once again, it's being coached up. It doesn't come across, to me at least, that it's over the top or really demeaning or anything like that. It just means that they're vocal and energetic, and they want to get things done out here. And I think that's kind of my big takeaway from the first week, just a very vocal, energized practice. Specifically, in today's practice, I saw a drill that I hadn't seen here before, or maybe it's happened, but just not very often. But it's something that stood out to me, particularly so quarterbacks with 3 receivers and 4 defensive players, sometimes 5, but mainly 4 guys. Kind of this, 3 receivers going against defensive backs, a short field, try to either, go to the short pass, try to get guys a short pass there on some sort of wheel route or swing route, or just any type of flat route, short passing game, kind of really work on that. And it was a lot of repetitions. I thought that was good, just that they were getting a lot of guys in there. As soon as the rep was done, they'd get a next group in there. And I thought that stood out to me, that they're definitely working kind of that, and kind of some 3-on-4 action stuff. There was a little bit of hitting, some thudding, they call it, with uppers on. Not full pads, but definitely they will get into that. Next practice isn't until March 22nd, so they got a week off. Again, still 12 more practices to go, but that short passing drill, that combo stuff, some 3-on-4 stuff, one of the things that stood out to me there was it translated into what we saw today during some 11-on-11 team action, where they essentially took those combinations, went into some team stuff, kind of applied that there, and tried to do what they were drilling earlier in practice to what they wanted to do late with the full defense out there. And I thought that was good. That's what they were working on today, kind of some short stuff. And one of the things, they were definitely trying to get the ball short and out. There were some pass patterns kind of going deep that I saw, but mostly short. But there was one in particular that stood out to me. I thought Jake Garcia made a nice read on a deep ball to Keyshawn Smith, to Corey Couch in coverage. Keyshawn wasn't able to come down with it, but it was just a good read by Jake that you don't always have to go short, but most of the time these passes look to be designed to go short. But overall, I thought it was a good performance. I want to mention a receiver that I thought had, made some nice catches, and Jacoby George in particular. He caught like a 30-yard pass from Tyler Van Dyke, on the sideline. And the way the pass worked was, I thought Jacoby stopped his route a little short. He saw the ball, made a really good read. DJ Ivy in coverage. Jacoby stopped short, leaped up, grabbed the ball, and came down with it. So a really good catch. Like I said, looked like about 30 yards. So that was a big play in the passing game that I saw today that stood out. I think Jacoby's doing okay. I think he's sometimes up and down. But overall, you see the ability, and somebody else, you know, 3 guys talked after practice: DJ Ivey, James Williams, and Al Blades Jr. amongst the players, and then Kevin Steele with the defensive coordinator. He talked to media as well, and somebody asked Al what stood out with Jacoby, and he said, you know, he does a lot of things. He's got some really good skills, and he's an impressive guy. I think he's just been kind of little up and down, but certainly today a really good catch. Not surprising because he does have ability there. And you know, another thing with Jacoby, he made good defense on the play I mentioned with Keyshawn Smith. He also had a nice pass breakup later in practice that stood out to me on 11-on-11 thing. So that's good to see. A couple pass deflections from Jacoby. Good to see. Like I said, that stood out to me as well. Isaiah Dunson's a young cornerback trying to make his mark out here. He had a chance on an interception. Garcia threw a ball. He jumped the route, a short pass to Frank Ladson. He wasn't able to come down with the interception. I'm sure if he watches film, he's going to wish he had it. Wish he could do it again, but just made a good read. You know, he saw a short pass that he could maybe make a play on, and he did a good job on getting there. Just didn't, you know, complete the play there. One of the things that stood out to me when Kevin Steele was talking to the media was he talked about this star position. You know, we've been seeing different coaches come in here. We heard about the striker position quite a bit under Manny Diaz, and you know, he's got this star position, Coach Steele does, and it's basically a nickel corner, nickel safety. They've been rotating different guys in there. Gilbert Fryerson's been in there, Al Blades Jr. as well, and they can play. You know, Al's been rotating between there and corner, but it's just a different spot on the field. And Coach said it's a little bit different of a defense than what Miami ran last year. Basically, a lot of 4-2 stuff with some slant stuff, coverage. But basically, you know, it's a little bit different, but he doesn't feel like it's going to be hard for these guys to adjust to. And I definitely agree with him. I think these guys will be fine, you know, making this adjustment. It's not a huge difference. Kind of some other things just with the players said. Al Blades is definitely excited to be out here. You know, he loves ball. He loves being out here. You know, he's definitely looking to have one of these big years. And he talks about, you know, kind of being a leader, an older guy, kind of helping the younger guys out. And someone asked him about maybe some of the attention he's gotten with social media stuff, but he like, look, if I don't or other guys don't get the job done out here on the practice field or be successful during the season, it doesn't really matter. So he knows what the top priority is, and he wants to have a good year. So good to hear him. Spoke with a lot of confidence, maturity. He always has, but so not a surprise, but certainly good to see a guy like that's been away for quite a bit, dealing with things off the field with injuries and things like that, health. So good to see him out here. Good to see him kind of doing well. I mentioned him before. And also James Williams. You know, here's a guy that's confident. You know, I remember talking to him before. You know, he wants to be one of these top safeties come through this program. So he wants to be good and he wants to do well. And certainly he's looking to do that after he's wrapping up this first week of practices. The rest of the guys kind of standing out a little bit at times. You know, linebacker once again rotating different guys in, doing different things there with just the different guys. They're kind of rotating a bunch of guys, even, you know, Wesley Basaint's getting in there, getting some good reps, a freshman. You know, Deshaun Troutman. There was a play that stood out to me with Deshaun Troutman. Jaleel Skinner got behind the defense a little bit. Wasn't able to get the ball thrown to him, but Troutman there in coverage. I thought Skinner had a step on him a little bit. It just kind of shows you a little bit what Skinner can do. Speaking of the tight ends, I don't want to disguise or reveal the play that sparked, you know, Will Mallory for a big gain. But there's a play I saw today that I really think Miami can use throughout the season, and certainly when they get into game planning and once they finish spring ball and go through summer stuff and look at film, they'll find out exactly what they have with this team. Josh Gaddis has spoken about that before. But I think that this play that stood out to me, I think it's a play that they can use with all three of the tight ends. If Will Mallory's in there, or Elijah Arroyo, or Skinner, I think all three of these guys can be used in this play, and I'm excited to see how it kind of translates to the field during the season. But certainly it looked good today, worked well, and I think that'll be something. Another thing with plays that's kind of standing out to me a little bit with these first few days of practice is the running game. It seems like they're getting some good runs up the middle. Again, you're not having full tackles, so you have to take it with a grain of salt. But I think that there's some good play designs with the running backs able to get upfield in between the tackles. Offensive linemen, it's kind of creating some holes a little bit. I think they've had a good week of practice from what I've seen. Once again, I'll show you guys the video clips from today, which include offensive linemen going against defensive linemen, not just position drills. So that was good to see. We could see some action there as those guys go head to head. So that's a big thing that stood out to me today. I want to shout out to everybody that's watching these videos. Also, I just want to thank everybody for, maybe coming up to me and saying you watched this. That's a huge to hear, and kind of names with faces as I kind of meet some of you guys. So definitely want to thank everybody for that. But definitely plenty of content still coming on the website, on the channel. Subscribe if you'd like to see more of these and don't want to miss any more videos and more action, like I said. So thanks again for everybody for watching. Hopefully you have a good weekend and take care.